I watch a lot of beginner drone videos because I have a drone filmmaking course and I review my students' videos. And there's one mistake I see over and over again that instantly screams amateur drone pilot. So in this video, I'm going to show you what that mistake is and exactly how to fix it so your drone videos look smooth, cinematic, and professional. But before we get there, there are 4 other mistakes that we need to fix first. So mistake number 1 is jerky drone moves. In a lot of beginner drone videos I see, the shots just simply aren't smooth. There's a lot of jerky starts and stops to the movement, or it's not smooth and continuous through the clip. Movement that's not smooth can really take you out of the immersive feeling of a drone video and instantly lets you know it's not professional. Now, how do you actually fix jerky movement? Well, one of the most important things is having the right gain and expo tuning settings on your drone. You can find these settings on DJI drones in the settings menu under Control, Gain and Expo Tuning, and these may vary a bit from drone to drone, but over time I've tested and found these to be my go-to settings that will give you great results on any DJI drone. And to save you the time, I'm not going to go through all those settings point by point here in this video. I have other videos where I do that, but you can download my gain and expo tuning settings completely for free in my ultimate cinematic drone settings checklist, and I'll put a link to download that down in the description. These gain and expo tuning settings will make it a lot easier to smoothly ease into and out of shots, especially the expo settings, because they basically decrease the sensitivity of the sticks on your remote when the sticks are close to the center and increase the sensitivity as you push the stick further away from the center. Another thing that will massively help to get smooth movements and avoid jerky motion is to practice doing drone moves until it's just second nature to put the drone exactly where you want it to be. Now, obviously, this does take some time to get down. It takes quite a bit of practice, but just go out and practice with your drone regularly. Push yourself to do drone moves that are a little bit more complex than you're used to, and you'll eventually master smooth drone moves. Another tip for smooth drone shots is that you can use the spotlight mode, where you can just select the subject on the screen of the remote and the drone will automatically keep the camera pointed at it, so you can simply focus on moving the drone around, and the drone will usually smoothly keep the camera pointed at the subject instead of having to keep track of all that manually. Another tip for spotlight mode is that for a static subject like a house or a rock or even someone standing still, if you fly the drone back and forth a bit, it will convert the box around the subject into a GPS point, and then the movement will be much smoother because the drone can mathematically calculate where to point the camera rather than having to optically track the subject the entire time. And when all else fails and you end up with a shot that isn't perfectly smooth, and that does happen sometimes even for me, one of my favorite tricks is to stabilize the shot in post. This is available in just about any video editor: DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Final Cut. There's a stabilization effect you can just apply to a clip and it will smooth the clip out the rest of the way so it looks perfectly seamless. And if you apply all of these tips, you'll have much smoother drone shots that look much more professional. Mistake number 2, again something I see quite a bit, is clipping the highlights of your image. When you're clipping the highlights in your shot, it means there's no detail there, so if there's some clouds or snow or something, it makes it so that just the whole area of the clouds is pure white, so you can't see anything there and also can't see any detail in it, any texture in it, and that really does not look good. So how do you fix this? Well, the main way to avoid clipping the highlights is to correctly expose your shot so that you're not overexposing and blowing out the highlights, and there's a couple different tools in your drone that you can use for this. One is the histogram, which is basically a little graph of the brightness in your image. A lot of people get scared by the histogram because they don't know exactly what it does, but it's actually pretty simple. Left to right is how bright or dark it is. All the way on the right side you have your brightest highlights, and all the way on the left side you have your darkest shadows, and in the middle you have your midtones that aren't either super bright or super dark. And top to bottom is how much data there is, so if all your data is bunched up on one side or the other, it means that it's either very bright or very dark. If it's touching the right side, that means that you're losing some detail in the highlights, and if it's touching the left side, that means that you're losing some detail in the shadows, but usually that doesn't look as bad as if you're losing a bunch of detail in your highlights. Ideally, you want the mountain of data to be kind of in the middle, but to keep from clipping the highlights, you just don't want it to be all bunched up on the right side. Another helpful feature to keep from clipping your highlights is to turn on zebras or overexposure warnings, which will paint little zebra stripes on any part of the image that is overexposed and clipping and losing data. And you can turn both of those things on in the menu under camera settings in the DJI Fly app. Another key to not losing detail in your highlights is to shoot in either log or hybrid log gamma color profile, which will keep all of the dynamic range, or in other words, how bright and dark parts of the image you can see at the same time. Basically, log color profile doesn't add so much contrast to the shot, so it keeps more details in the highlights and shadows ranges and avoids clipping the highlights, but with log you will have to color grade the footage in post, which you should do anyway for the best results. Now, it's not always possible to completely avoid clipping the highlights, especially if it's in some part of your shot that's not the main subject or you're shooting directly into the sun. Sometimes some part of the image is just going to be brighter, but where was I? You want to try to avoid it as much as possible. Especially on your subject, the main focus of your image, you don't want the highlights to be clipping. By the way, if you want to learn even more about how to shoot professional cinematic videos with your drone, I have a completely free 45-minute drone filmmaking training where I share my top 10 secrets to cinematic drone videos, and a link to that is down in the description. Again, it's completely free, no strings attached. Mistake number 3 is not having a clear subject. I also see a lot of drone videos where they just feel like they were randomly shot without much planning. They're kind of a shot of something, there's something over here that might be like the main subject, but it's half out of the frame and there's really nothing interesting in the shot to look at. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure you know what you are shooting with your drone and intentionally frame your shot so that your eye is clearly drawn to the subject and not distracted by other things in the shot. This really goes back to basic photography and cinematography principles of framing your shots intentionally to exclude certain things that you don't want to see and to include a specific subject that you want your viewer to focus on. Subjects in your drone shot can be anything from a building, a person, a car, a river, a boat, a waterfall, a bridge, just something to focus on, or it can even be a general landscape or a skyline, but you need to think about what your viewer is actually supposed to be looking at. One thing I like to do is to intentionally include subjects in my drone shots. I'll have someone go and stand in the drone shot, or stand in the drone shot myself, or walk through the drone shot, or shoot a car driving through a landscape. This makes a shot that's much more interesting than just filming the same landscape without, say, a car in it. It can make your shots even more interesting if you add something brightly colored, because that very quickly draws your eye to it. And sometimes it's actually better to fly your drone at a lower altitude to make your shots more interesting. Just because you're technically allowed to fly up to 400 feet doesn't mean you always need to be at 400 feet. Sometimes you can get a better shot by bringing your drone down to a lower altitude, getting closer to your subject, and making your subject bigger in the shot. So next time you're out flying, try getting some drone shots from a lower altitude as well as way up at 400 feet. And drone video mistake number 4 is boring drone moves. I see so many drone videos where some of the shots are simply the drone sitting in one spot and just spinning around in circles. And that looks terrible. The movement is just way too fast to be able to really see what's going on in the frame, and it just doesn't look good to spin the camera around in circles. It's like just holding your iPhone and spinning around and trying to get a good shot like that. It just doesn't look very good. So how do we fix this? Well, the drone can move. So always be moving your drone in some direction, not just panning the camera back and forth. If you want to get a panning shot, let's say across a landscape, instead of just sitting in one place with the drone and spinning around, if you fly forward and then very slowly turn as you fly forward, it will create a much more dynamic shot, and the drone won't be spinning so fast that you can't see what's going on. You can also fly side to side and turn slowly to get a similar effect. It will just look much more professional than sitting in one place and spinning around. And finally, mistake number 5, the number 1 mistake I see new drone pilots making is doing an absolutely terrible job editing and color grading their drone videos, not trimming off the bad parts of clips when they're editing the video together, not color grading their footage at all, and just bad editing in general. I always tell people that half of what makes the drone shots you see in DJI launch videos so cinematic is the editing and color grading. And it's something that most drone pilots almost entirely ignore. I see so many beginner drone videos where they leave on the beginning or end of the clip where they're kind of starting the move and it's kind of jerky, or the drone isn't moving in the beginning and then it kind of starts moving and then changes the movement a little bit. Don't do that. It does not look good, it does not look professional at all. Instead, you'll want to make sure that you trim your clips, cut off the beginning of the clip where you're just starting the move or just sitting there, and trim off the end of the clip once you've stopped the move, let go of the sticks or whatever. And cut out any parts of the clip where you're just randomly moving the camera around to the next shot. You want each clip in your video to be one smooth, consistent movement. Now, it's okay if you change the way the movement is a little bit in your shot, but you want to make sure that it's smooth and cut out any parts where you're just doing some random thing that's not the main drone shot. And this even goes back to how you're shooting your videos. You want to shoot them intentionally. I'm going to start this drone move, start the shot, and then we're going to hold it for 10 seconds or something like that. And then we'll end the drone shot, and then we'll go and get another drone shot rather than just sort of flying your drone around aimlessly and then trying to somehow get some good clips out of that when you're editing. You also don't necessarily need to include 30-second, 1 minute long, one take drone clips in your drone video unless there's something really interesting happening in that shot. Generally, I like to edit each individual drone clip to be quite a bit shorter, generally somewhere between 2 and say 12 seconds, because that makes your drone video a lot more interesting and is a lot more likely to keep the viewers engaged and watching. A lot of times I'll actually speed up longer clips to fit them in a shorter space and make them more interesting. Another thing you'll want to avoid when you're editing is jump cuts, where you cut between two very similar clips. That doesn't look good, doesn't look professional at all, so you want to avoid that. And instead you want to cut between two different shots. Like you might cut between a really wide shot of the subject and then a shot where you've flown the drone in closer, or you might cut between two different scenes, two different subjects, something so that you don't have two very similar shots from the same angle, the same framing of the same subject back to back, because again, that really breaks the flow of the video and just doesn't look great. And to get the best results, you also need to color grade your drone shots. This is again one of the biggest things that sets professional drone videos apart, and a lot of beginner drone videos I see have very little or no color adjustment done to them, and that's fine if you just want some nice little fun video of your cat running around the yard. Can you even film that with a drone? Probably. I don't know. They might run away. Anyway, if you want to create truly professional videos and get the best results, even if you're shooting in normal color profile instead of log, you still need to color grade your drone shots. This is what a video in normal color profile looks like before color grading and then after color grading, and this is what a video shot in log looks like before color grading and after color grading. So you can see it makes a big difference whether you're shooting in log or normal color profile. At minimum, you can just bump up the contrast a bit, maybe boost the shadows, pull down the highlights a bit, and add some cinematic colors. And one of the easiest ways to do that is with LUTs, which are basically little color grading presets that work in just about any video editor and can give you cinematic colors with a lot less fiddling around. You can just apply the LUT and in a couple clicks make your drone footage look a lot better. And I've actually built my own custom Flying Filmmaker LUT pack specifically for color grading drone videos. You can see some of the before and afters of what those LUTs do. And if you want to get these LUTs, link to them is down in the description. And you can create all of these looks manually in video editing software like DaVinci Resolve, but if we went into all of the details of how to do all of that, we'd be here all day. I do teach how to do that in both DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro in my color grading and drone filmmaking courses, but if you want to learn my top 7 secrets for color grading cinematic drone shots, you can click right here to watch that video. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this, and we'll see you in the next video.